Hi, Saisha. We are live now.
Hi, how are you, Soma?
Good. So we are live. It's 12:02. So I'm just waiting for Shubhu.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for initiating this uh, discussion session, and best of luck for your future. I heard about you from the Shoma. Is a quite interesting journey in coming 2 years, but we're try to we try to focus on your career. It should our interest also that how a young student can motivate us and do the some betterment in plant science. So it's a journey, and don't worry about anything. If you need something which can be possible from us, just email us. We will do the best.
Thank you
And
so much.
I'm expecting you learn some techniques, some tools which is not available in our education system, because in training it's a very helpful. Uh, Many softwares you may know, many small but very important tools you may know that can help any students in the world. And Bioingene platform is for that type of thing that we can share and we can learn from others. And personally, I am very interested on the actual thing, because what you want to do, it can be written in the manuscript, any article, but how it can be done, it's a very difficult thing, and it's not available everywhere, and very few people that know that. For example, CRISPR. Every know the principle of CRISPR, but how to design the
Yeah.
target RNA, how to check the target sequence. These are lots of software and analysis and parameters. So my focus on that, and I'm try to plan a workshop on that. We're
Mm-hmm.
learning the softwares only, not the principles, because we had done 3 or 4 webinar on CRISPRs. So our uh, next aim will be a training on those softwares which is actually used by the laboratory persons or the scholar to check whether it's working or not, how to plan where the target sequence, after the getting the sequence, how to detect where the mismatch, where everything. So for you, it's a quite interesting. You can learn many things from many different universities and different people. So I would suggest you make a notebook for username and password.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
you forget many things, and it's everything in out of India. Everything is electronically. So if
Mm-hmm.
you forget your password and user ID, then it's very difficult to access those things. And if it's possible to make printout or
Mm-hmm.
make in save in your own drive, so you can use in your PhD and master degree. Otherwise, you can you thought that yeah, that slide is was interesting, that topic was interesting, but you can find that.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm making a Google Drive of it and just adding everything which I find useful in that.
And is it the discussion section, so we can informally can talk this like way? That is the reason I made it. It's for students, not for
Mm-hmm.
the
Professor.
VVIP person. Is just for students, so they can ask you, they can email us. We can send you the email
Mm-hmm.
that if you have. Otherwise, I have a very large friend of circle scientist friend, so we can find out that what can but how we can answer that thing. But let's start, Shoma. What should or 2-3 minutes we can wait. Actually, I'm I'm watching, there is a 50, 60 are watching on YouTube.
Okay.
And I think Shoma brief you everything. So first the floor is yours. Then we ask you few questions because many people are shy to
Mhm.
ask the question. But when you uh, give the similar idea, then they can pop up. And everything we try to bring as much as possible information from you. This is the most important thing. um, uh, it, uh, like you may know, in during the application there is a lot of options are there, and sometimes it's very difficult to understand what the meaning of that option.
Yes, exactly. I
Because
know.
these things is not very common in India or Asia, or sometimes it's missing in British English, is
Mhm.
only available in American English. So is a like when I first know the headshot, I'm thinking that what is headshot? Then
Ah, I remember you
then I
sent
Google
me
it.
that word.
Then,
Even I searched
because
for
there's
it.
actually we have the color photographs or passport size photographs. Upload headshots. Then it's
Headshot.
a so it's happened. And I have no it's not, I'm nothing to hide. Is I built that type of experience in my career.
Mhm.
So it's a interesting.
No,
And
then you can always ask me. That's what he does all the time. What is this, Shoma? What does this mean?
and then once in my BSc, it's a very problematic in that way to, because book is different, literature is a different, but their
In
communication
reality, it
is a
is something else.
totally different things. And I'm very worried. That's why I'm avoiding GRE and TOEFL every time. So it's an experience. And I like you guys. Those are very because you first you need to determine that okay, I can go, I can do it. Then is a it's half of your achievement if you can do that. And then the actual process starts. But many people, including me, we are, I'm not sure that how I can survive uh, in out of India. But when you go there, then you can understand that we have the potential.
Yes,
And our
definitely.
education system is little bit different than them, but it has everything, but we don't have the name. Like we don't have a name of any soft skill. But during our college and school, we got many soft skill, but we don't know the name of the soft skills.
We do not write it on our CV.
Yeah,
We
yes,
present. We do not
yes.
do it.
And
Yeah.
sometimes like Instagram, there is lot of description people are putting there.
The
And
bio.
sometimes I read them that okay. So it's an art to represent, and we should know that representation, because in science representation is everything.
Yes.
And many softwares are there, like we are using now, that you can make a very good picture of your concepts. And we are used to use the PowerPoint or
Mhm.
own diagram to represent something, but in out of India they are using those software to attract the people, the audience. So I wish you learn everything, what what is possible, learn everything, because it's a master degree. And try to learn that your what is your interest. This is the main. Then you have a time to PhD and postdoc to do everything. But now you can just assure what is your interest. That's it. That from a master degree student, this is the ultimate expectation or satisfaction, that he or she know the field, at least the field. then the process is more easier. But when someone asks you that what is your interest, then you thought, yeah, my interest is I can do that, I can do, I can, my
Maybe
interest
this,
also
maybe
that.
that.
Yes, and we're sometimes approach those supervisors who are not working on my field or my interested field. So it's a another situations. Okay, let's start. Uh, Sometime if I'm not available, I am available here, but Shoma will do the rest of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So a note for the all the uh, live viewers from our uh, YouTube channel that today is a discussion section. So it's not like our webinar session. It's more informal. It's more focused on the students' perspective, students and scholars. So any can ask any questions. We do a short presentation from Saisha. Then we ask her few questions already compiled by me and Shoma. And I hope these are the most common questions you guys try to ask her. Our intention to know as much as information we can gather from Saisha, but she is available. Her LinkedIn profile also available, so you can directly ask her as a colleague, as a senior, or as a fellow of plant science. So let's start the talk. It will take 1 hour, I think, in total. And if anybody miss any questions, you can email us. I will forward or I will answer that email. So Soma, please introduce our main resource person, Saisha and Bioingene.
Okay. So can you hear me? Okay. Hello. Welcome to the Bioingene Live Discussions. Here we address, discuss, celebrate everything related to academia and research. Like all other bioengine initiatives, this is also free for all and dedicated to our young viewers and participants who want to actively get involved in these discussions. This session is purely for the development of knowledge and awareness on important issues related to science and academia. If you are interested and want to participate in the discussions, please visit our website and register in the discussion section. You can share the topics you want to discuss that are helpful for students, scholars, researchers, and future researchers. The topic for today's discussion session is internationally fully funded scholarships for master's degree. The discussion will be led by Sayesha Khanna. Saisha is an Erasmus Mundus scholar funded by the European Commission. Lots of congratulations for that, Saisha. She completed her BSc Agriculture with honors with distinction from Punjab Agricultural University, Ludhiana, India. She is the only student from India out of the total 19 scholarship global recipients this year who have been selected for the European Commission scholarships in the field of plant health management. Besides this, she received more than 6 fully funded research-based post-graduation offers from top-notch universities in USA, Canada, and Australia, including the University of Michigan, McGill University, University of Illinois. Our heartiest congratulations again to Saisha for her achievements at such a young age. We are eager to learn from her about some fellowships for master's program in science and the strategies that can be implemented to achieve them. Saisha, welcome to Bioengine. Over to you now.
Thank you so much, Soma, for this introduction. And I'm really happy to meet you and interact with you for the past many days. So, yes, I'm going to start my presentation, and it is mainly about what are the ways or how can you basically secure a fully funded scholarship, fellowship, or an assistantship. So, firstly, I'll tell you the difference between all of them. Can you see the screen? Okay.
Okay.
So, in this presentation, what we are going to discuss are the steps which are included when you are proceeding for a master's in an abroad country. Either it could be USA, either it could be Canada, Europe, Australia. The processes are definitely different, but the agenda is same, that we want to do something in research and we want to pursue it in a developed nation. So, in this presentation, I'm going to tell you what are the different types of opportunities which you can gain. What is a timeline when you should start preparing for the same, when you should make the mind, when should you give the exams, when should you start emailing the professors? So, about that. And the rest goes the same. So, let's start with it. So the first thing is that what are the different types of opportunities which are there all over the world, and you need to gain it, any one of it, to achieve your goal. So the first one is specifically for the North America, which includes both USA and Canada. So that's the graduate assistantship. Now, the graduate assistantship is basically a job which you pursue under the lab of a professor from an American based university. And during that job, you basically have to conduct a research under his guidance. So that's what an assistantship is. So basically, now an assistantship is also of two types. So the first type is, and the very most common type, is the research assistantship. In the research assistantship, basically the professor selects you. The professor who has a project will contact the students on the basis of many portals all over the world, on magazines, on journals. There are many options on Twitter or on any social media. They can post that there is a position of assistantship, and you can go ahead and email the professor. And the other way is that there are many times when the assistantship positions are not posted, but still you can go ahead and ask the professors. Whereas, what is a teaching assistantship? Teaching assistantship is mostly given by university, and the professor in whole have a part in it, but in research assistantship there is a major part of professor. So in the teaching assistantship, what you need to take into account is that you need to teach the students, you need to teach the undergraduate students, you need to take care of the lab work. You basically, teaching assistantship includes everything related to teaching the juniors or teaching the undergraduate students. So these are the major two types of assistantships which you can focus on. So the next thing is scholarships. So scholarships are something which are given all over the world, in almost every country, in every stream you want. So scholarships are something which, and the first thing is, how is scholarship and fellowship different from the assistantship? In the assistantship, you get money for the work you do, whereas in scholarship and fellowship, you get money as a stipend for survival in that country. You get your money in extra for your studies, where in these types of opportunities you do not have to work side by side, but you only have to focus on your studies. Those scholarships and fellowships are very difficult to obtain, but it's not impossible. Obviously, if you will represent yourselves in the right way, you'll do the interviews in the right way, there is no way you cannot secure a position. So let's start with them once again. Now, what is a fellowship? Fellowships are mostly given to the PhD students because they have a research proposals, but there are many times when even master students can gain a fellowship by writing a research proposal. But it's kind of difficult for our Indian students because we have not written any review paper or research paper during our undergraduate. So fellowships though are difficult as compared to others, but definitely not unachievable. You can definitely achieve it by writing a good motivation letter. So now let's start with it. How you need to start, how you need to work on everything so that you're able to gain an offer letter. So the first thing is you need to do your homework. Now, what is an homework? Like, what do you need to do and when do you need to start? So basically, when you start your undergraduation or when you make your mind that you want to do something in masters, you want to pursue your masters, there are many things which you need to include in your CV. CV is the curriculum vitae, or we can call it resume. So there should be things which are different from others and which you include in your CV, which makes sure or which makes the professor trust you that you are actually interested in working in that same stream. So what are those things? Right now, during the COVID situation, there are many online portals which have started proliferating, and many of them have given so much good results. They have so many offers, they have so many presentations, they have so many classes on almost every field. So what you need to do is that there are, because statistics is the need of the hour, you need to know R, you need to know Python, you need to know other programs for your calculations, for your statistical analysis, as well as data experimentation. So what you have to do is that you need to go to the online portals and learn for the same, because this will be extremely helpful. Because when you're going to apply for a master's, definitely there would be research, and the only way to conduct a research is definitely have the experimental data. And these softwares are highly important and create a very good impact in your CV. So this is the first thing you need to focus on, because online courses you can do it anytime at your home. You just need to learn. The next thing you need to conclude, you need to have, is that your hands-on experience. Now, what is an hands-on experience? It's basically the lab research or the field research which you need to have and which is related to the assistantship or to the scholarship that you are applying on. Let me give you an example. For example, if you're applying for an agronomy position or maybe a weed science position, then you need to have an hands-on experience. It could be a field experience on those specific type of weeds, or maybe the weeds from the same families, or you need to have a lab experience if, for example, your master's topic is going to be something related to molecular biology. Then make sure that in your undergraduation you do lab work in DNA extraction, in electrophoresis, in PCR. Well, this is very important, because this is how you can tell the world that yes, I'm highly interested in masters, and this is how you will start your procedure. So the next things are definitely the standardized test scores. Now, what are the standardized test scores? They are mainly two. The one is the GRE, which is the graduate record examination. You need to score more, at least more than 300 out of 340, because that is the eligibility of numerous university. Like, that is the minimum. At least you need to score 300 out of 340 for securing a position, because it's eligibility criteria which you cannot change, so you have to prepare for them. And I would recommend that take at least 3 months at least to prepare for GRE. And the other thing which you need to take into account is your IELTS or TOEFL score, which is basically your English qualification exams. You need to score at least 6.5 in IELTS for clearing the eligibility criteria of numerous universities. 6.5 is a very basic, it can go above. For example, Illinois, there is an eligibility of 8 in all the parts of IELTS, because if you want to apply in teaching assistantship, they want that you know how to speak English in a really good way, because you're going to teach other students. So the next thing and the most important thing is your academic records. It plays a huge impact in your CV, Well, academic records does not simply include that you need to score extremely high marks in every subject. Even if you're scoring really good marks in the subject you are interested in the subject you want to pursue your masters in, the people will be highly impressed because they'll see your passion towards a specific subject. So make sure from the very start that your academic records are really nice, because you are gonna do something in academia, you are going for the masters in academia, so you need to have a good record. So these are the four things which you need to do before you start applying for your emails. So now what is the next process? So before applying for the emails, what do you need to do? Whom do you need to apply? In which university do you need to apply? These are the things which you need to take into account. So the first thing I would recommend you is that, because there are many universities, many ways, many professors under which whom you're going to apply for assistantships. So make sure that you have a record of them, because if you do not have a record of them, you will not be able to do anything timely, and maybe you send the same email to only one professor more than 2 or 3 times, which will definitely result into a negative setback in that professor's mind. So you have to make sure that you make Excel sheets, you develop a program in which you have written everything from the university to the research lab name to the professor to the date on which you have applied to him. Have you received any reply? Yes or no? If you have not, then you have to go for follow up emails. Well, that is something we'll discuss further. So after you are done with your all the pre-application procedures, your standardized test scores are done, you have good lab experience, you have good academic records, you have nice, online courses which you have studied. What you're going to do is that you need to make a CV out of it. You need in your CV, make sure that you write numerous things, make sure you write, though make sure to make it concise and very precise, because that is really important. The people who are in academia focus not on stories but on the facts. So you have to make sure that whatever you have done and which is related to that specific research lab, you make sure that you include each and every type of activity, each and everything that you have learned during your whole of the 4 years of study. Okay, so how do you need to write a email? So in your email, there are basically 5 things that you need to take into account. The first thing is your subject, because subject is obviously something which creates the first impression. Just when the professor will see your email, there should be written the direct answer or the direct thing which you are coming for, or which you why you have sent that mail. So directly in the subject, right? I'm a prospective MS student, prospective master student. If you know that specifically I want to do a research in this, right? Prospective master student for maybe weed science project. So you need to define for why you have sent your email, because professors are really busy persons and they have huge number of emails to check. So make sure that you make your email very concise and it should be extremely direct. So the next thing is that you need to take into account your cover letter. Now, basically, what is a cover letter? It's the email only, and you need to have 4 paragraphs in an email. So the first paragraph should definitely be about yourself. Who are you? What are your academic background? Why have you applied for it? These are the things which you need to include. So in your first paragraph, write about who are you. In the second paragraph, include your academic records, include the things which you have done. All of the things should be academic. And in the third and fourth paragraphs, make sure that you read the publications of the professor, make sure that you are interested in that research, and then in those 2 paragraphs, include the relationship between your past your past academic record, as well as the current topic of research of the professor. So make sure that in your cover letter you include these things so that it would be very directly clear to the other person why you have applied and why you have sent an email. So what you need to attach with that email is that your curriculum vitae, which is your resume, your transcript, as well as your standardized test scores. So what is a transcript? Transcript is basically your record, your academic record of all the semester, of all the numbers, of all the scores that you have gained during your graduation. Make sure that you include your transcript in the email which you're going to send to the professor for the very first time, as well as your standardized test scores. Why are standardized test scores important? It is because every country, every university, every continent, every professor has different ways of giving the students their marks, their grades. So it is very difficult for the professor of other countries, of other continents, to define where you stand. It's difficult for them. So what they do is that they focus on standardized test scores as much as they focus on academic test records. So you have to make sure that you send these three attachment with your email, because in your first email you have to be very direct. So after that, what's the second thing? There are many chances that you won't receive a reply from a professor, because obviously they do not have time to read each and every email. But as you are the one who is interested in doing research in that lab, as you are the one who is interested in going to that specific university, you have to make sure that you are extremely persistent. Well, you may think it as an embarrassment, but I believe, and I've talked to many people, this is considered as dedication towards what you're interested in. People see that you are actually persistent about what you want, and it is a really good thing during your academia, because make sure your follow-up emails are very direct once again, and they are subjective. Now, what is subjective? There are many students who just basically take a template of a cover letter, a template of follow-up email. For example, they can simply write, "Hello, professor, you have not replied to my previous email. Can I know the answer?" Please do not write it like that. It will cause a really bad impression. So make sure that during your follow-up emails, you write very respectfully, which is very, very important. And the next thing is that it should be subjective. Subjective means that that specific email should be written for only that specific person, because they are smart people and they know that you have simply copied pasted that specific line to almost every person. So make sure to show your respect, to show your dedication towards that other person. So make sure to write an email which is subjective and which is only for that person. And your follow up email should be timely. There should be, as I said, that make an Excel sheet in which you have written all about the time when you have sent the email. Have you got a reply or not? So make sure that your emails are timely. For example, if you have not received a reply between 15 days to 12 days, make sure that you send a follow up email. And even if again you do not receive a reply, then make it 15 days. So take a gap of 15 days and reply. And if you receive a reply, either it's positive or negative, you make sure that you reply to that professor once again for thanking him for reading your email, for taking the time to read everything. So the next thing is that after your follow up emails and after your cover letter, if you are communicating with that professor, you will reach a point where they will ask you for an interview. So if you have reached to the level of interview, it half means that the professor is impressed by your CV, he is impressed by your motivation. So this interview acts as a make or break, because this is the half of your journey. During the interview, it's just 1 hour, and you have to make sure that during that 1 hour you make the best out of it. You make sure that you know answer to almost everything. You have to prepare yourself, you have to study for the interview. Do not take it lightly, because even professors have given their time to you, so you have to make sure that you make the best out of it, because there are rare opportunities which come in our life. And when an opportunity comes, make sure that you make the best out of it and you do not let that go. So, in the interview, there are numerous questions which can be asked, but these six are the very basic questions. The first thing is, tell us about yourself. Now, make sure that you tell about yourself both professionally as well as as how you are as a personal, human being. How are you? What are your soft skills? Do not simply focus on your hard skills, because hard skills have been already seen by the professor during your when he was reading your CV. So make sure that you express yourself as a person, you express yourself as an individual who is highly interested in working in that specific area of study. So make sure that you do not simply copy paste your CV and speak it. You elaborate things, because this is a time when you have to you just give the best out of yourself. Even if you have time, make sure that you collect some pictures of your lab work, of your field work, and maybe if you both have time, you can even show it to the other person. That will be really good, because it helps you in connecting, right? Because obviously photographs are something which are taken in a very live moment, and it acts as a proof that yes, you have actually worked in that specific area and you have actually learned something there. So these are the other questions, and you have to prepare for it. But I would like to tell you about the last question, which is, do you have any questions for us? This is a question which is asked by everyone, that do you have any questions for us? So do not simply say no. Make sure that you have questions to ask, because that will show that you are actually interested and were listening to the other person the whole time. So you could have questions which you're highly curious about. Maybe you both have talked about a research. Maybe you both have talked about the expectation of the professor from you while you will be working in his lab. So make sure that your questions are totally clear in that specific time, as these if because if you simply say that you do not really have a question, it could act as a negative impact, as it could show that you were not really interested in listening during the whole thing. So make sure that your interview goes good. So the next thing after the interview, after the professor has said that yes, go towards the official university application. So here I want to tell you is that without talking to the professor, without interacting with the professor who is going to select you for his research lab, do not ever apply for an university application, because one university application will cost you nearly 10,000 to 15,000 Indian rupees. So it's a lot of money. So make sure that after you are interacting with your professor, then only apply for a university application. And it's a long process. So, what are the things which are included in your university application? The first thing and the most important thing is your statement of purpose, or you call it motivation letter. In this, what you have to write is that you need to have a direction why you have pursued that specific lab, why you have applied for that specific lab. You should have a major reason for it. So that is something which you have to write in your statement of purpose. The next thing is your recommendation letters. There are, if you want to apply for Canada, the recommendation letters are two, whereas if you want to apply for USA, the number of recommendation letters are three. So you have to make sure that in those recommendation letters, you ask your professors to write about yourself, and just let them write. And I would recommend that you do not read what is written in that recommendation letter, because this is something confidential between your professors and the university. So let them write and do not interfere in between that. So the next thing is that your curriculum vitae, definitely it's a very important thing everywhere. You have to give your CV. You have to give your CV in every process, because that is what shows who you are academically. So, and the next thing is standardized test scores. Well, in when you are applying for a university, you do not have to simply upload a standardized test score, but you have to make sure that you send the test scores through that specific website or through that specific agency. For example, if you have given your GRE exam and you need to send the test scores of GRE, so you have to send it through the GRE website and not directly uploaded. So this is something you learn when you start applying. So here basically were the things which were highly important, and a brief way of explaining you the whole process of applying for an assistantship, applying for a scholarship. And basically what I want to tell you is that after all these things, after all this time of persistence and hard work, I'm highly sure that you will get your specified result. You'll get what you want, because this takes time, this takes your a lot of effort. But I would recommend you that do not lose your patience, because this is an extremely long term process. So make sure that you just become a better version of yourself day by day. It is not only to impress a professor or to get a scholarship in an university, but to make yourself a better person. So here I end my presentation, and if anyone has any doubt about any slide or any word which you are unclear of, just feel free to ask.
That was amazing, Saisha. Thank you so much. So I have a few questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who was your mentor in this whole journey?
Oh, my mentor. Well, there is no one mentor, because while you are applying for these assistantships, it takes a lot of effort. So it's not just your academic performance, but your emotional, perspective too. So my mentors would definitely be my family as well as the internet, because internet, let me tell you, has played a huge part in each and everything. And because you are applying to a professor who is totally outside your continent, so internet is the only source. So you have to make sure that you get really comfortable with it, because from starting an online course till the end, till getting your offer letter or getting your visa, it's all done on internet. So make sure that you have really nice, internet studies. Whereas the internet, yes, and the major mentor for me has been my father and my mother, because they were the ones who always motivated me in every moment whenever I was depressed. Because there were many times that you will get rejections. It's not always about the positive things. If you are maybe applying for 100, you will get just 4 or 5 replies, and that has happened many times, and most of us will face that, because that is a part of this assistantship procedure. So I will definitely give all my credit to my family for this. Even more than me, they are the ones who have done the work, who have made sure that I remain in my right mind during the whole process. So yeah.
That's great. How did your life change after achieving this prestigious scholarship?
Well, I would say it has changed a lot. A lot. Like the academics, the people, the atmosphere, everything has changed. But well, the only thing which is stable is definitely my family. I make sure that every day I talk with them to just get it out of my system, tell all about what is happening all over, all around me, because that is something which is highly required when you just change your country, when you just change your continent, and you know nobody around you, and it's all new for you. It's a journey, and we have to do it. Though it seems like, after you have achieved a scholarship, it's the end of the hard work, but no, it's a long term process, it's a lifelong process. You have to face everything, and this is how you will achieve things. So it has changed, and it has changed for good, I will say.
Okay. So, what are some of the key tips that you would like to give to the aspirants who are trying for such scholarships?
Okay, there are many, many things, but the most important two things are that become persistent and become confident. Do not lose hope. In any case, do not lose hope. You don't know what can come for you. You do not know. There are many things, many calculations over the world, and you do not know where you can get what. So I will say, and also become very, very confident. It is very important. There will be many times when you will lose all your hopes, when you will simply think that, I cannot achieve it. It's too tough. It's not for me. Maybe I cannot get it. I do not have it in me. Maybe I'm not enough. So make sure that you're confident, because even if you get even one interview chance, make sure that you get the best out of it, and you make sure that you get the assistantship, you win it. So these are the two major things which I would like to say.
Great. How culturally diverse is your class, and how does your course program ensure inclusivity of such a diverse group?
Oh, my class is nothing I've ever seen before. It's full of people with new cultures, different countries, and right now, presently, for example, I'm the only one from India, and there are people from various countries, from the total east to extreme west, from Colombia, Mexico to Taiwan. There are people from every country, and definitely, because right now I'm in Spain, so we no one of us knows Spanish. So it's difficult, but it's going really good. The inclusivity will help you to bond with people of other religion, of other culture, and it's really nice because you get out of your cultural shock. You get, because you know that your world is not just this much. You have many things around the world. You have many people with different stories, people with different background, people with different knowledge than you, people with different perspective than you, and you bond with them, and it's a really nice experience.
Wow, it was great. What are your area of interest in the field of plant sciences?
I'm interested in almost every type of interaction which happens between two organisms. For example, it could be a positive interaction, it could be a negative interaction. For example, it could be an interaction between a pathogen and a leaf. So that's something I'm interested in. Whereas an interaction between a biocontrol agent as well as the entomological pest. So that is actually the major thing I'm interested in. I'm highly interested in pursuing my future career in the biocontrol agents, because right now we really need sustainable agriculture.
And that was my next question. What are your future plans?
Okay. My future plans, as I told you already, is to work on something which is related to sustainable agriculture, because right now, due to the pesticides, due to these chemical fertilizers, it's not only causing harm to our climate but to our body highly. So
Mm.
there is no positive aspect of it there, because now it's time that we shift to sustainable agriculture. Now is the time we shift to a better diet for ourselves, have fortification in our food, have good yield but sustainably. So that is something I'll research, I think, in my future career.
I think that is what you would want for something to happen in agriculture in your country, right?
Definitely, yes. It's very important because it's highly necessary that the diet of our community, the diet of our country, the diet of the world is healthy. But due to these chemicals, it's causing really harm in our body. So that is very important that we shift towards it as much as we can.
Right. So, how are you adjusting to this new environment abroad, away from home?
I would say it's both bitter. It's a bittersweet experience, but it's sweet, I would say, in overall, because well, there are many times when I feel nostalgic, when when I miss my parents a lot, I miss my brother a lot. But there are other times when I feel so fortunate to become a part of this Erasmus Mundus scholarship, because well, whatever I say, this is something which is the dream of many people, and it was mine when I was preparing for my in these assistantships for my masters. It was my dream always, because I don't think any masters in the world provides us an opportunity to visit like five countries. Sorry, like five universities. So well, definitely I'm really liking it here because I've got what I wanted. But the only thing I'm missing is my family.
Right. So, we have some questions from our participants, and also we have two participants who are with us in Zoom.
Okay.
So, I'll just ask these questions first from the YouTube. So, Jeevan Pradeep asks, after BTech Biotechnology, can we go for masters in bioinformatics? And if so, which country would be the best option for that funding wise?
Okay, funding wise, it's definitely USA, because according to many statistics, USA provides the maximum amount of research funding in biotechnology and bioinformatics, because that is the need of the hour right now. We really need to shift towards biotechnology, because that is the only way we can increase the yield and increase the fortification and the quality of our crops. So definitely go forward to USA, but for if you want to go for masters, because in the masters you will have huge opportunities in assistantships, whereas you can definitely shift from biotechnology to bioinformatics, because it is kind of a niche. Biotechnology is a vast subject, and bioinformatics is a part of it. So definitely you can go forward for it, but make sure that you have enough, you have enough things in your CV, you have enough courses you have done to make sure that you can work in an bioinformatics lab.
Mhm. Right. So Akash Singh asks, how many recommendations should I have when applying for universities in Germany?
For universities in Germany, okay. I personally don't know, because I did not apply for a recommendation for a opportunity in Germany. But all over there are, I don't think you need ever more than three, because I've applied to many and there was never a chance that I had to apply for more than three recommendation. Three is the maximum, I would say.
Okay. So Muhammad Amir asks, is mailing professors important when applying for Erasmus programs, unlike direct university applications in the US?
No, no, no. Erasmus is a consortium of many universities, and you directly need to apply on the website. There is no way to apply to the professors. No, definitely not. It's just the scholarship website. Just apply there. That's it. No, no. In fact, let me tell you, the mailing to the professors is only for North America. In Europe, you do not get it. There is no assistantship positions here. This is not the concept. So here you have to, where one thing I would like to tell you is that when you apply for a scholarship, you have to apply to the institute or to the agency and not to the professor. Professors provide you assistantships, they do not provide you scholarships. So never ever scholarships are being given on the basis of mailing a professor.
Okay. So Amir Khan asks how much GPA matters for selection of scholarships.
uh Well, when I applied, the academic record accounts for 20% of your whole of the application. So I would say it's highly important. But just make sure, like for example, if your CGPA, if your score is out of 10, you have at least more than 7.5. At least that's like lesser than that will cause you huge problems, because academic record is something which is of your 4 years, and it's used to it's something which shows you how much interested you are in academic. But even if you do not have a good, academic record, do not fear. Who knows, maybe your motivation letter is so good or your recommendations are so good. It's a part of your application and not your whole application. As I told you, it accounts for 20% and not the whole application, so you still have 80% in your hand. So do not worry. If it's good, very nice. If it's not good, do not make it a negative thing. Write a good motivation letter. Ask your professors to write nice recommendation letters. Have good bondings with your professors. Do research work a lot. It's not just CGPA which counts when you're applying, because there are numerous people with CGPA more than me, and well, they were not able to secure the scholarship, but there were many other things which they secured. So do not worry, there are many options. And it's not just CGPA which counts, it's a accumulation of many things.
Okay. So Chaitanya MP asks, by when should we start sending emails to professors? Is 1 year prior time enough?
As early as you can. That's something I will tell you, because it's very important that you connect with the professors as much early, because that's something which will show that you are highly interested. So, well, 1 year I would say is more than enough. It's good. Just make sure that before you are sending your emails, come prepared with all of the things I told you, because there should be something you should write in your CV, right, before applying to a professor. So have your standardized test scores done and start emailing them right away. So 1 year I would say is the kind of a limit, because after that it starts getting delayed.
Mhm. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So Ritik Sarkar asks, what are the scholarships a student can get in the field of entomology, mainly a master's degree program?
Specific for entomology, I would say there are no scholarships specifically for entomology, because at master's level, the universities expect from you that you have knowledge of agriculture. Now you want to shift towards entomology, but specific scholarships for entomology are not there. There are scholarships for like plant health. What I'm doing is plant health, so it includes entomology and pathology and weed science. So these scholarships are like that. Whereas assistantships, if you want to go specifically for, just you are very focused that you want to go for entomology, I would recommend go for assistantships, because they are very direct. They have a research topic in their mind, and you need to work for it. If you like that research topic, go ahead.
Okay. So this one, yeah. So now we can ask our Zoom participants to ask their question. Uh, so Shraddha, if you want to ask your question, you're welcome to ask it. Can you unmute yourself and uh, you know just ask your question? Are you there, Shraddha?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the visa process of after after getting your scholarship. What was the visa process actually?
Okay, so visa process for which country?
The country you are in right now.
Okay. So for Spain, you want to ask. Okay. So the visa process for Spain is that you need to go to the website. You need to apply on an interview date, which they will give you. After you are given an interview date, come with all the documents they have asked you and go ahead with the interview. Give it nicely, be prepared, give all your documents. Make sure that your documents are legalized, they are apostille by the Ministry of External Affairs, and you have translation of your transcript of your PDC, which is the provisional degree certificate. You have the translation of your there are many criterias actually. Like I applied for visa type D, so we had to convert every document into Spanish language. So that is a requirement, and go ahead, take the apostille, take the legalization of documents by external affairs and make it translated and go ahead with your interview, and that is the process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Shraddha, any more questions?
No, no.
Okay. So, Kashish, are you there? Do you want to ask a question now? Kashish, can you unmute your mic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, ask your question, please. Do you have any question for Saisha? Kashish, do you have any questions? No?
No, ma'am. I don't have any question.
Okay, that's fine. So I think we have all the questions answered by Saisha, and Saisha is available on LinkedIn and also through me. So also through Bioingene, and she'll always be connected through Bioingene, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. Don't worry about that, Soma.
It was absolutely amazing. I had a wonderful time, and this is so tangible. Like we can feel it, and we can like you're like right there with us, and you're talking about such relevant questions and such relevant topic for so many students who are aspiring for so many scholarships and fellowships. So I think uh, yes. I think Shubha wants to say something. So, yeah.
Hello. It's a really wonderful presentation, and uh, as I told you before, that it's not presented by the PowerPoint. So it's a learning process. Many people are watching how you did that, but it's not I can say it's not a PowerPoint presentation. So
Yeah.
it's a process. Yeah, I know what is it. So uh, one thing I included, and ultimately I asked you two questions. Is already there in the YouTube. One is brief of your particular Erasmus fellowships, and one is do you know other few fellowships? If you know that, you can share with the name so they can check it on the Google. So one thing I wanted to include, that Shaisa include everything from a perspective of students, but just in another angle, I want to include one thing about the recommendation letter. As it's already told, it's not for you, it's for your institute. Those are actually asking. Nowadays, you don't know who they are asking and when they are going to be asked. So it's a good thing, but you have to know about that who can give you the recommendations, because I already get many emails to give the recommendation from Bioengine, but I don't know you, and how do you know about you and your work, your interest, and how I can give the recommendations? Many people thought that LinkedIn recommendations is important, but no, they are not going to check your LinkedIn. They don't have a time to check your LinkedIn profile. If you do big something, then maybe there is a few chance to check your LinkedIn profile. So collecting recommendation in LinkedIn profile is a not fulfillment. These recommendations, these two are different recommendations. Maybe the name is recommendation is same, but these are the two recommendations. Third is when you ask someone for the recommendation, you should assure that he or she is active in internet. But it is very common for us also that sometime you ask someone and the particular institutional email address is lapsed due to retirement of his positions. So it's happened that and when you send the two options is a private email address and an institutional, they always prefer the institutional email address. And this is very common. Sometimes institutional email address block, and maximum email they block it. If there is a something like congratulations, maybe they will block it, or there is a something that very nice, very good morning, maybe it's block it. It's a as a options, like we also did in a G Suite's account and YouTube also. There is many word we make them block. Automatically they blocked. So it is a learning process how to write recommendation letter and where you ask for the recommendation. And sometimes it's very annoying because you obviously for students you apply for 5-6 fellowships, and sometimes one person is common in a 3 fellowships, and 3 email when they come to ask that give the recommendation for this student, then the main challenges, because you are not the only student for that particular person. There are a lot of other students too. So you need to build a relationship with the teacher before convince him to give the recommendation, and it's very important. Recommendation letter is very important in these applications. So Saisha, just you in brief your own fellowship, and if you know few others fellowship that can be applied for a master's, you can told them.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to tell you about the other, other masters of other scholarship opportunities, and the one and the most important is the Fulbright scholarship. It's the Jawaharlal Nehru's Fulbright scholarship, and it's highly common, and it's I think for the PhD students, but it's there are some scholarships. If you will go to the Fulbright scholarship link, you will see that there are many other scholarship, Dr. Khush scholarship, in which you can get a scholarship under your biotechnology or something, including plant science. So the other scholarships I would recommend you are the ones who are basically what happens is that these scholarships are mostly given by the states or by the countries. So there are, if you, the very, I will say, the easy way to search for scholarship is that you simply go to the internet, type the country you are interested in, or type the university that you are interested in, and just simply write that the best prestigious scholarships for maybe this country or that country, whatever you are interested in. But if you want to come to Europe and you want a scholarship, so the best, will I say, is the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, because there are many programs in it. Like, I'm in plant health, so there is another program known as Implant. Implant is for plant breeding. There is another program for forestry. It's Mediterranean forestry. So you can apply in that, but it's difficult because it's just one student that they are going to select from one country. But do not lose hope. Definitely every one of you can achieve it. Just make sure that your presentation is good and you write it nicely. But the other options are that there is an Emile Bounty scholarships for the students who are Asians. And there are many such opportunities. I think, Shovu, I will give the links of the universities. That will be better.
Yes, yes, definitely. If you give the link, then we can put the link in YouTube, and also give pasted this link on your description, in the description box in the YouTube channel for the future. Okay.
I just remember like someone asked me about Germany. So I would like to tell that for Germany, the most common scholarship is the DAD scholarship. Yeah, so that person can go ahead with that. And well, I would say that for agriculture, neither there is a university in Netherlands, Wageningen University, which is rank one in the world. So for plant health, there is a option known as Orange Knowledge Program. It is by the Netherlands and its deadline is on 12th of October. It's just 10 days after this. So you can definitely apply for that. So right now, I will say are the time of the scholarships because the deadlines are nearly in October or in maximum November. So this is the best time for applying for the scholarships. Or I remember that in Europe there is a Scotland's Saltair scholarships or the well, every university too has scholarships. So I will send you links. That will be better.
Okay. And did you follow any particular websites like Biotechnica or that type of website where you can collectively collect the whole information about scholarships? Because there is a lot of websites on that.
Yes. I mean, well, I would say I just did not focus on one. I don't even remember how many bookmarks I have in
Yes,
my.
yes.
But yes, I definitely followed Biotechnica. I followed it for my internships or for the something which I can pursue in India. So I remember that by Biotechnica I received I received a internship in CSIR, so that was given
No,
there.
actually, I just give an example Biotechnica. We are not
Okay.
promoting Biotechnica
No.
because it's very, very common. And last 10 to
Yes.
15 years, they have done these things. Like in India nowadays, there is a nature career. It's
Yes, yeah.
published by Nature. So the same funder is there also, that they are also taking that. And from the bioengineering we are collecting, those are specifically for plants, and we have a
Mhm.
list of these things in our careers tab. I will ask you, Shoma, to display after your session. And another thing I wanted to ask you that uh, just a second. Okay, is there mandatory IELTS course is mandatory for the application? Some
Everywhere it's mandatory.
yes, everywhere mandatory. And I just include one thing, for masters is mandatory. Okay,
Yes.
because there are a lot of applications. But for the postdoc, sometime it's mandatory, but you can write a letter on that. That I have a
Okay.
publications, I know the language, you can test me, but right now I don't have a IELTS. But if you give me 5 to 6 months, I can clear the IELTS. But this type of letter also convince the waive the IELTS right now, that time. But I'm sure for the masters and graduate, it is mandatory. So answer is mandatory, but depend on the application and depend on the university.
Like yes, I just remember that there are many societies, like for example Weed Science Society of America or Entomological Society of America. So there are also many options there. Students can check that, because I used
Yes,
to
yes.
be updated with it almost
Uh,
every day.
Societies also, and then the Global Plant Council also posted their social media handles and also the website. So uh, frankly speaking, they have the fund and they need to utilize. Okay, so they are ready to give you the fellowship, scholarships, and it's for Asian countries. All the students are hardworking. Most of the students are hardworking. So sometime I just told Soma, if you see someone face on bioengine, then you should know that it or his or her has something. So it's applicable for two. It's applicable for you also, that you appear in bioengine means you have something. So it's very applicable for Asian country students. We have the motivations, we have the guts to long working hours, and we're already challenged by our education system, and we also prove ourselves that we have the interest on that. And so in masters and PhD, we just need to know where and how to apply. And there is nothing for the applications. Rejections is very common, and
Very.
it should be if everybody comes to the plant science and everybody comes to the agriculture, then it's very difficult. Then who will treat us for the medicine, who will take care of our others balances in the society? So it's necessary to enrich this field, that you have something, then you should come. And for the master's degree, it should you should try for the betterment for those fellowships. If not, there are a lot of national fellowships are there, lot of universities are there, and you will get again one chance during the PhD application. So don't worry, it's a step. If you failed in a PhD application, you also get a chance for postdoc applications. So it's a every time you get, and again you got another chance for the assistant teachership after the postdoc. So it's a just, but when you start very beginning, then if you fail, definitely it improve your PhD application. If you fail during the master degree applications, so I encourage everybody, not only Sayesha, she already did that and proved that, because there are a lot of questions regarding the PhD related, but today's session is for the master degree students, and our main resource person Saisha has already proved it during the master degree. I'm sure she also did and come back with the PhD degree scholarships. Then we again do another session. That's Saisha's PhD degree program.
I really hope so. I get
Yes,
one.
definitely. You just keep focus, because as you say that social and the challenges, the shifting the continental is a challenges. So you need more focus than the India. But obviously, there is a lot of protocols and lot of assessment. It will keep you mind on the track. But definitely, thanks for everything, and keep uh, in touch. We'll also ask you sometimes something not related to directly bioengine, but it related to others, maybe, that how you learn, how you progressing. Shoma will keep the touch, and I always available by admin@bioengine.com. Don't worry.
Yes, yeah. Thank
Thanks.
you so much.
Thanks for watching today's live session. I ask you, Shoma, to display 1 or 2 minutes to Bioingene upcoming webinars and specifically the career link where we can put the descriptions. And when I get your link, we also make some specific descriptions from the collection of the individual fellowship in that particular tab. Shoma will show the tab. Thanks, Sayesha.
Thank you so much. See you around.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Shoma, please share the screen.
Okay. And what about Shraddha and Kashish? Okay. My Zoom window is blocking this. Okay. So this is the Bioingene homepage. Here you have the tab of webinars. And our next upcoming live webinar, you can find it on the homepage. It's on 26th October. And please note the time. It's 9 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So at 11 it will be almost over if you think that it's 11. No, it's early in the morning because of the time zone difference. So it's 9 a.m. on 26th October. So the speaker is Professor Fred A. Cholik. He's a president and CEO, Kansas State University Foundation. He's retired dean and director of the College of Agriculture, KSU, USA. The topic will be professional development of plant science enthusiast. So this is a more soft skill based webinar where you will learn about how to make a professional development for your career. So I would highly recommend this because soft skills are very, very important for developing our personality and developing us academically. And then when we scroll down at the very bottom of this page, you will find that there are some useful links. And here there's a career page. So click on this career tab. And the Bioingene career page opens. So that's what Shubha was talking about. So here you will find the career news related to scholarships and fellowships for masters, for PhD and postdoc, of international scholarships and fellowships, like the Fulbright. There is the SERB Overseas, Humboldt, and the Raman postdoc. It's a national scholarship. Their national and international scholarships are all enlisted here. There's here there's a DAD doctoral programs that we were talking about for Germany. So if you are interested and looking for scholarships or fellowships, you can give this page a visit. So that's all for today, I think. And we can wrap up this session. I'm very happy about this session. It went very nicely, very successful session. Thank you all of the viewers. You were great. You participated nicely. And thanks to Kashish and thanks to Shraddha for joining us on Zoom. Thanks so much to Saisha. Thank you, Shuvo. I will now end this session and we will meet again on 26, right, at 9 a.m. IST.